Alex is a neurodivergent portrait photographer from Norfolk County, now located in Hamilton, Ontario. She creates authentic, thought-provoking imagery, blending her emotions with those of her subjects. Drawn to moments of vulnerability, Alex uses photography to process her own experiences and to spark conversations about mental health, emphasizing the power of embracing vulnerability in both life and art. Now, before we get to today's episode, we have a nice, colorful, and flavorful mocktail. Take it away, Henry.
Thanks, Drew. Today we have the Golden Hour Glow. Add ice to a cocktail shaker. Add 2 ounces of orange juice, a ½ ounce of banana simple syrup, 2 slices of banana, and shake well. Next, fill a cocktail glass with ice. Pour about 1/3 of the glass with coconut water. Strain your mixture into the glass. Garnish with a banana slice and a sprig of mint. Maybe throw a fun straw in there, cause why not? Golden Hour Glow evokes the beautiful end of the day lighting photographers love. And now for a photographer that emits that golden glow herself. Alex Franklin.
Hey you, you're listening to Just Drew, Just Drew, Just Drew.
I'll get used to it. I'll hear my lisp, but it's fine.
You have a lisp?
I guess maybe I hear it.
I've never noticed.
Okay, cool. That's
No.
good. Maybe that's because I did like speech therapy in
Okay.
like, high school and
Are
elementary.
Are you tongue-tied?
I think they found out that I have bruxism, so I like grind with anxiety. Like I grind my teeth, and it's made my mouth smaller.
Oh,
So-
it affects kind of where your tongue can...
Yeah, my tongue is too big for my mouth, so I'm like constantly fighting it, and like probably by the end of our conversation, I'll feel like my tongue and like my mouth will be tired.
Interesting.
Yeah, so the dentist said I either have to get Invisalign
Okay.
or like jaw surgery.
Okay.
So I have to figure that one out and be like, yeah,
That doesn't sound fun at all.
no, it doesn't. So
I think I would have had a lisp, but I was tongue-tied, but they clipped me when I was like, I don't know, 6 months old or a year old or something like that.
okay, cool,
Very young.
nice.
But then my cousin just got her, she didn't have a lisp or anything, but she could only stick her tongue out like this far.
Yeah,
That's as far as she
Aw.
could go. And she got it cut as an adult.
Oh, ouch.
And now she's like moving her tongue around. She's like, oh my God. And she's like, is this what it's like? And I was like, yeah, I guess.
Did she sound different once she got it cut? Like,
No, but she said, I think a lot of her headaches went away.
oh,
And like physical things like
Oh.
that.
damn.
Yeah.
Like less jaw pain. And I don't know. I'd have to follow up with her, but yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've never noticed your lisp.
Okay,
So I wouldn't be self-conscious about it.
okay, cool. Maybe it's just me. And like in high school, I was just always made fun of for it, like in a nice way. Like it wasn't like a bad bullying. It was just like, oh, she says stuff silly. Like, but I think as you get older, my nickname was Rice Krispies because I can't say it. Like I can think of it now. Like I could go Rice Krispies, but when I say it fast, I'm not gonna do it like that.
You know what that reminds me of? Do you know the story behind Lululemon?
No.
It's very racist. So you might want to fact check this just so
I think you're right. But
this is what I've heard. But the reason Lululemon is called Lululemon is because the guy who created it thought it would be hard for Asians to pronounce.
Oh God.
Asian speaking people,
Yeah.
Mandarin people. I guess L's are difficult. I guess.
Yeah.
Is that
What does it
factual?
say?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said, ChatGPT is very nice about it. He said, the name would be unique and have international appeal and be difficult to imitate in Japan.
Oh, it was, yeah.
So he believed multiple L sounds in the name would make it harder for Japanese speakers whose language does not include the L sound to pronounce it.
Now, was this in good fun or is this guy like a racist?
I don't know.
Because it's like, Adidas was made by Nazis and so was Puma.
Oh.
Shit.
I did not know
And,
that.
Mercedes-Benz. And
Well, his name is Chip Wilson,
BMW.
so I think that is
Chip.
Chip, yeah.
Chip.
That is
Could go either way. It could
That's
be
really
very
bad.
racist or
That's
just very...
It's really bad, but
Goofy
at the
guy.
same time, it's also really funny.
Yeah, I think.
But that is really bad. If that was his motivation for it. Anyways, I have one pair of Lulu pants.
Yeah, I
They're too
never
expensive.
went into that. I was a thrift queen.
Yeah?
From like elementary school. So
Well, that's good. It'll help you with your photography. Do you think about a wardrobe a lot?
I think I'm starting to. I started in like the documentary kind of photojournalism kind of work. So I never really thought about that. It was just like composition right away and the mood and
Very raw.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever is happening.
exactly. It's always been really raw and authentic. But now we could talk about it, the whole New York thing. And I've always been a portrait photographer, but I was doing so many things. I was doing portrait photography, stills on sets, and I was like doing PA work on films and like kind of like all widespread. And when this New York opportunity came up, it reminded me to like, okay, you are good at this thing. You're good at portrait photography. You're good at connecting people. Like now is the time to hone in. So now it is, like I have meetings with people now and I'll have a call. Hey, like somebody a bit ago wanted their portrait done. So I said, okay, let's have a call. Let's talk about wardrobe. What do you want your hair to look like? Like everything now. But I never used to work like that. But now the New York experience and like being with ADHD, you know how it is, like organization, I've always struggled with. But now I'm really like, I just need to have a call with somebody like, okay, let's think about this. And I've definitely like looked at my past photos and look like that could have been a good photo, but the guy's wearing bright green. Like you should have just slowed down and like control the like atmosphere. And that's what I'm learning more is like, I am good at directing and I need to direct every aspect of the photo. So yeah.
That's why I've been dabbling into film a little bit, especially with the one I have. It's like $5 a shot.
Oh yeah.
And so it makes you think, okay, if I fuck this up, that's $5 I just wasted. And so you take your time because you only have, it's like 28 shots or something like that, 32 shots. And so you think I've caught myself like, okay, think about this a little more before you snap that. Because in the digital, you're just like, okay, I'll pick the best one out of each 100 photos later. And then you clear it. So I find that's really helped with composition and thinking about what's actually in front of your camera.
Yeah. I've been using a tripod.
Okay.
Again, and never used to do that. Just pick up the camera, high shutter speed, and go around. And now when I do a portrait shoot, like the tripod is glued to the camera now. And I probably look awkward, like trying to like fix it all, but it slows everything down. And I learned this from my mentor, Chris Buck, who invited me to go to New York. And that's how he works. He's like, it looks silly. It slows things down, but it does like people in front of the camera, like they react differently because they have 3 minutes where they're sitting there by themselves and they're just like waiting for the camera to go up. And they like, then that's when you get the like authenticity.
They settle in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of like, I don't know, like when I used to take portraits, it was, just like click, 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 click everywhere. And I was getting great shots, but it wasn't like truly thinking about like every aspect of it. So the tripod is like, you slow everything down.
It's very much, I feel like half the battle is getting your subject comfortable with yourself.
Yeah.
And that's sort of when I have guests come on the podcast. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have a drink and we're going to catch up. And we're just going to settle in. I got some good music playing, good vibes. Okay, and then we're going to sit down.
Yeah.
I feel like it would be very wrong just to be like, okay, photo time right now. Let's go.
Yeah.
Chop,
100%.
chop.
Yeah, that's what, so a part of my work is about mental health. And like I share a lot about my own mental health. And I do that because I want people to feel comfortable with me. So when I was in New York, I don't know if you saw it, but there's a video of like cute little videos of me living my life in New York. And then there's me crying. And like, that was scary to put out to the world because it's like,
I was thinking about that video this morning.
yeah.
Yeah, I was coming up with how to address it with you
Yeah.
because I thought that was really cool that you put that out there.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was scary to do, but I want people to, they reach out for a portrait and I want them to feel comfortable with me. So I actually did a photo shoot 2 days ago and the person that came out was like, I saw that you were coming back. Because I posted on Instagram, like, I'm coming back. I'm available to do shoots. And he instantly messaged me and was like, hey, I'm going through life changes and I want you to like photograph it. And I want you to like, it was like him burning his things in fire and stuff like that.
cool.
And like, yeah, I'm really excited about those images. But then, yeah, he came to me and he's like, this was like a part of like therapy for me. And I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychologist, but I want people just to be like able to talk about their life while we're taking photos.
But you're coming from a perspective of you can understand because you've gone through it. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's really important for me to talk about because when I was growing up, I grew up here in Norfolk, but I grew up with addiction on all three sides. I'm saying three sides of my family because both of my bloodlines and then through my stepfamily. So all like addiction, like alcoholism and drugs on like all three sides.
genetically and environmentally.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. So me growing up, I always knew I knew something was going wrong. I had ADHD and I didn't know. So being a girl with ADHD and going through all of that like environmental stuff and just like feeling so alone. And then that's why photography became a thing. I think I was like 14 or 15 when I started taking photos and it became like therapy. I just was like going around the farm, photographing my environment, photographing my family, taking self-portraits of me crying. I have so many photos of me crying. And I think it's beautiful. Like, it's scary to talk about, and some people might look at me and go like, oh, that girl's got some issues, but I think it's strong. And then it's so rewarding when people come to me and like I post a picture of something vulnerable or something, and then people message me and they're like, thank you for sharing. And I think that's the rewarding part of what I do.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That was always a concern. Even just putting yourself on the internet just to
Yeah.
start
Yeah.
is a big step for people. And I think that's, how am I going to word this? Like, people are afraid of what people might think, their perceptions of you.
Yeah.
And maybe you're not going to be as authentic, but that's pretty much my goal usually.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm the same on this podcast. I try to be the same on this podcast as I am just out in the streets or working or whoever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's very vulnerable for you to do that. So I love that when you put that one out from New York City. I'm like, yeah, you're a human being and you're going through shit.
Yeah.
And you're alone.
Yeah. I was
So-
completely alone.
Yeah.
Like, it was so scary.
So that's definitely going to be emotional.
Yeah. And being like, I'm not young, but I'm not old. And like, I have an apartment at home. I have a partner. I have animals that I left behind. Bills. I didn't get paid for 4 months. Like, that was crazy. So every time, and the exchange rate. So every time I hop
my
on a
God.
subway.
Is it like 140 or something like that? That'd be close.
No.
130?
Okay. So I lived in Jersey City, and it's not far at all. It takes 25 minutes to get to Midtown on a bus. 5:15 to get on the bus, and then turn that into Canadian just to get into the city. And then subway, $2.90. So what's that for us?
Right, about $12.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
just to get in, and then obviously going around, going subway transfers and food, and it was crazy.
You know, at least, even if you're on a tight budget, $50 a day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, or more.
Yeah.
Probably more than that.
So, yeah, I could talk about like because some people won't know, but yeah, this opportunity to go to New York for an internship with Chris Buck, like his work is insane. And it all happened so quickly. So I got a call from a photo editor that I've worked with before, and she says, hey, Chris Buck is coming to town. He's doing a workshop. And he does like scholarship positions. So you have to pay to do a workshop. And the scholarship position, you pay less. And I've never met Chris. Like, I've known his work, but I didn't even think about the workshop. Like, it was out of my budget. And she calls me and she says, hey, we sent him a bunch of work and he picked yours. And he
Oh,
likes
no
you.
shit.
Yeah. So she's like, he's going to call you tomorrow to talk about if you want to go to the workshop. And I was like, okay, this is terrifying. And he calls me and he's telling me how he loves my work and he thinks it would be great for me to go. So I was like, I'm going. And there was like 15 other people from all over the world, and it was scary, but I put it my all into that, because it was like there was like he taught a lot of things, and then we had to do our own work, and he's like, okay, go take photos of each other, and then he brought models in, go take pictures of them. But it wasn't like just like it was so intensive. So he there was one assignment. He made us sit down with him and tell us our biggest fears, like our 3 biggest fears. And one of mine was to be viewed as a narcissist. And he was like, where's that coming from? And that's just like trauma. And somebody convinced me I was a narcissist once. And to the point where like
sounds like a narcissist.
Yeah. So now that I know, but that was COVID times, and like didn't really know. And so he was like, okay, that's interesting. But now you're going to go photograph as a narcissist. Like, you're going to put yourself in this mind space, and you're going to go take pictures of 2 people, and like, you're going to be really controlling. And I was like, whoa, this is.
So that was your creative task mindset.
Yeah. So because I was always usually like very passive when I took photos. I was proud of the work I was making, but something was missing. I wasn't taking direction. Like, I wasn't giving as much direction as I should have, or I wasn't as confident as like where I wanted to go as a creative and like what I was doing. Something was just missing. And I pushed so hard. And of course, like, I told the models before this, I said, okay, this is my assignment. I'm going to push you.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Like, I'm so sorry. If you don't want to go in that like mind space with me, like, you don't need to. And both people were like, okay, like, I can do this. We'll do that. And I actually had one of the models like walked away at one point. Yeah. So full on to the point where he was like, I'm done. And he walked away, and like the photo I love. And after we talked,
I know
like,
the one you're talking about.
Yeah. He looks so mad. And then the other one, she looks mad too, but she like, it was a really cool experiment. And then right after that assignment, like, everything switched. Something in my work switched. Obviously, I don't want to photograph as a narcissist. Like, that's not what I want to do. But it took, like, it just reminded me of like, okay, you can do this.
Unlocked your mind a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And like, Chris kind of gave me, like, somebody said a bit ago, like, it's like he gave you permission to like re-experiment and have fun. Because like, I went to photo school, I went to Sheridan, and when COVID hit, we all had that COVID time. I full on just stopped taking photos. I was in a place where like I was in sales, like just a completely different like life path, and I was lost. Photo wasn't a thing. And then I started healing, doing all that, and then I started taking photos again. But something was missing. I was getting assignments, and I'm looking at the photos, and I was like, doesn't feel like me. Like, I was listening to the Ryan and Brendan episode that you guys were, that you had. And you guys were talking about like putting yourself in your art. And when I listened to that, I was like, yeah, that's like something I was missing for a little bit. And that's why I started doing photography.
And that also falls back to you being vulnerable. Because if you're going to put yourself in it, that is you being vulnerable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that whole like workshop. Oh yeah. So back to the workshop. Do this whole thing, and I was like super stoked. I was like, wow, my life has changed in these 2.5 days. And then I go to say thank you to Chris, go give him a hug, and he's like, actually, I want to go talk to you in the hall. I was like, okay. And he asked me, hey, do you want to be my intern in New York? And I was like, I swear to God, I looked like this. And he like, I didn't even say a word.
This is a dream.
Yeah. And he was like, you don't have to answer right now. Like, I was like so shocked. And, you know, all the things are running through my brain because he's telling me like, this is unpaid. This is like, it's 4 months. If like, there's a lot of expectations. And I was like, God, I don't know what I'm going to do. And then I reached out to the community, posted online, did a GoFundMe, which was terrifying. Like, hey, putting myself out there, and looking back at the video, I look terrified. Like, I look like so scared. Like, I don't know what because I only had a month. Mm-hmm. Like, I met Chris at the end of July, and he goes, hey, oh yeah, it was September. come for September. So I had a month to like raise money for me to pay rent in New York and also support myself and like my partner here in Ontario. So how am I going to do both? Like, yeah, it was crazy. And in a month, like 50 people donated. And then I did 22 photo shoots in August.
Oh, it's a busy month.
Yeah. So it was like personal commissions from people here in Norfolk and in Hamilton. And then I did some assignments for the Globe and Mail, and it like really helped me. I made like, I don't want to like talk about numbers, but I made $15,000 and like, and I'm not keeping that. Like that's all gone because of like, I paid
So you
$8,000 in rent in like 4 months. So
Wow. Good for you.
thanks.
That's great.
Yeah, it was crazy. And thinking about the person who I was like just like 5 months ago is crazy. And like people are noticing that like my confidence is up.
You seem different
Yeah.
in a good way.
That's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
in a good way.
Yeah. New York, I don't know. Everyone was like, "Oh, you're going to go to New York and you're going to love it and you're never going to come back." And I was like, yeah. Like, no. Like, I think about it all the time already, and I've only been back for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Last night I was sitting in the living room, and we have like one of those Roku TVs, so all the pictures show up. And I was like, man, I already miss New York. Like, this sucks. Like, I'm going to have to go back soon. Like, I'm going to have to visit. And then one of the pictures was like a aerial view of like New York. And I was like, oh, like, man. Oh, I want to say one thing. Before like moving to New York, I had no idea what to do. Like, I was calling my friends and family, like, this seems impossible. Like, how am I going to make this much money to be able to live? Like, I have a partner, I have animals. What am I going to do? And I'm a spiritual person. Like, we don't have to go down that route. But I pretty much was like, I was driving down the highway one day towards Toronto to work on a commercial. And I was asking the universe, like, what do I do? Like, I don't know what to do. And I'm driving, and I said that. And then, like, 5 minutes later, New York plate goes in front of me. And I was like, okay. And I laughed. Like, I'm like, I probably look crazy by myself. And I'm like, ha. Okay. And then I did that and I laughed. And then 2 minutes later, another New York plate goes beside me. Like, because I'm about to merge into the left lane and I'm going, and then a New York car goes in front of me. And I was like, in a different one. I was like, wow, okay. Like, and then I'm working on the commercial later that day. And I thought about that in my head. And I was like, wow, that was kind of funny. And then I go on my phone. I was about to reply to an email. I go walk to this bench and it says, this is a sign. And I was like, you motherfucker. Like,
The universe is screaming at you.
I guess I'm going to New York. Like, so that was my, like, that day was when I was like, okay, this is when I make the GoFundMe. My friend Olivia, she helped me because I couldn't edit those videos of me talking. Like, I was just not in the mind space. So she helped me edit that and like make a script. And it was a crazy experience. Yeah.
That's good. Hey, lean on your inner circle, right?
Yeah, I was super lucky for that.
Yeah.
And Olivia like sat me down because I was so overwhelmed, and I was like in her basement, like trying to raise money, and we were going to local businesses here in Norfolk and like pitching them like, hey, like I'll do your photos and video and stuff for this month, and it'll help me go to New York. And she's like, okay, this is who you're gonna approach. This is like like a budget. This is like all these things. And I was just sitting there like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I do, like, this doesn't feel real. And she was like, get it together. You're going. You can do this. Like, be confident. And yeah, that feels like a year ago. And it was only like 6 months ago.
But you've learned a year's worth of knowledge, perhaps.
Yeah. Like, I feel like I was just in college all over again, but in like the most amazing way. Like, and not like within 5 months, like my work has improved, and people have seen that. People have messaged me like, girl, your work was good, but something else is unlocked, and I'm excited to see what you're doing. So now some projects are like coming out of the grave that were like not being worked on for years. And I'm not putting dates out or anything, but it's just now is the time to like just keep doing it. And like, what is that?
Oh, that would be Cooper. He'll come say hi, I'm sure.
Will he like come close to me?
Oh, yeah, he'll come and like probably sniff your face. He won't bite you. He's just very
Oh my
nosy.
My cat, when I was gone, she was mad at me.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. So, yeah, I have a cat named Princess. She was, I didn't name her, but it fits.
Is she a princess?
Yes.
Yeah.
Whoever named her, because she was
So is
adopted.
he.
Oh my God, you're so pretty.
There he is.
Hi. He was.
Sorry, he's very vocal
No,
too.
I love it. She was adopted. And then she's really old. She's like 16 or 17. I don't know her
wow.
exact age. But when I got her, she was not doing good. And she was like grumpy, wasn't social. And now she's like the most social. She's so happy.
Oh, that's
It makes
great.
me really great. Like,
I love when people adopt older animals and like, because they'll still live for, I don't know, another 5-6 years. And that's
Yeah.
5-6 years of a good life. So I have a lot of respect for people who do that.
yeah. She's so sweet. But she was mad when I was gone. So
Oh, yeah.
I have the cat and then 2 birds. I have 2
Oh, you
little
have 2
budgies.
birds?
Yeah.
Noisy.
Yeah, they're like little chirps. It's really cute. Didn't plan on having a bird or a cat. They both just like fell into my lap. Like Princess was my friend's cat and I lived with her. We were roommates and Princess just bonded to me. And my friend was like, I don't feel right keeping her. Like she's yours now. I was like, okay, I guess I got a cat. And then a few years ago, I do like a lot of work in the film industry as well. And I was doing like paperwork in the van. And we're in this small town outside of Toronto, like a few hours from Toronto. And I'm working on the laptop and I hear little like footsteps on the roof of the van. And I just let it go for a bit. But it was like a solid 40 minutes of these little footsteps. And I was like, what is going on? So I stepped out of the van and yeah, a little blue budgie on the windshield wiper.
What?
What the hell?
Yeah. So I was like, okay. So I saved her. I took her to the props team and I was like, do you have boxes? Like we need to like, do you have a cardboard box that we can like stuff her in and like, give her food?
And a budgie's like not from here, obviously. It's not a
No.
native bird. So obviously it got out from someone's.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
we were in this location for 2 weeks and I drove around in the work van, like in this town, looking for like posters. I went on the Facebook groups, looking if anyone's losing a budgie. And I found some leads and I had people come look at her and they're like, no, not ours. So I was like,
Yes, multiple budgies. Have been
yeah,
missing,
in
yeah.
all blue. Like,
You sure it's not yours? Like,
yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, how do you know? But okay. So I ended up keeping her. So anyway, yeah. So then I have my partner back at home and he has a dog. So there's 4 animals. And when I left for New York, he was like, I guess I'm taking care of all of them. And I tried to convince him, like, we could take my cat to my mom's and like the birds can, like, a friend can watch them or something. And he was like, no, these are my animals too. So, but anyway, yeah, Princess was mad. And then I got home and now she's acting like she did nothing wrong and she's a perfect little angel.
What did she do when you were gone?
She was like, I don't want to be gross on this, but she was having like, she was making messes on the couch, on the
Pee and
floor.
stuff,
Yeah,
yeah.
like she was like on strike.
Yeah, like fuck, mom is gone.
Yeah.
Drew has some cat struggles he's voiced on the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So he can relate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by The Folk, Norfolk County's unofficial official clothing brand. Whether you're repping your roots or just love high quality Canadian-made apparel, The Folk has you covered. From timeless staples to limited edition drops, every piece is designed and made right here in Norfolk County and inspired by the community we call home. Shop now at thefolk.ca and use the code JUSTDREW in all caps. I repeat, JUSTDREW in all caps at checkout for 10% off across the entire website. The Folk, representing places, connecting communities, and inspiring memories. Now, back to the podcast.
Yeah, because you had kittens at one point, right?
I did. I had kittens. I had 8 kittens.
So thrilled about
so
that.
crazy.
8 kittens in a tiny little apartment.
Yeah.
Got rid of them all, but yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, your parents have PJ.
Yeah,
That's the one
they
I
got the
wanted.
Yeah, he was the best cat. He's still the best cat. He's like just one of those stupid fluffy ones that just like you pick him up and he just starts purring. He doesn't give just no fucks given. Just like,
Yeah.
I wanted it. Cooper was like, no.
Yeah,
and then
Cooper
he
was-
shunned Drew for like, what, two
Cooper
months?
didn't like me for like a while.
Long time.
Because I brought the kitten here to be like, maybe they'll get along. And Cooper was like, fuck this cat. This is my
and
house.
Fuck this guy.
Yeah. And then every time I came back, Cooper like look at me like, you fucking piece of shit. Trying to bring in another cat here.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh, I would have loved to kept PJ though.
Yeah, he's a good cat. Me and my girlfriend just left for a few days and I came back a day early, and the cats are usually like all over her, but now they're all over me, and she's sad about it. I'm like,
See, he's grown on me. I'm home a lot, right? I edit from home.
Yeah.
And so Ash got him when we were living at our parents' places, and then we moved in. That was my first experience with a cat. I grew up with dogs.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But we're buddies now. Yeah. Although he might bite me. It's a love bite.
yeah.
I'm anticipating it.
Yeah.
How does the bird cat dynamic work?
Princess is so old, she does not care.
There's just too much effort.
She just watches them.
He would kill
Yeah.
all of the birds.
When I lived at my parents' house, my sister's cat tried to kill them
I
multiple
think it's
times.
just a natural instinct for them.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially something flying.
And she would like full on cling to the cage, and we'd have to grab her with all of our might. And like, yeah, they were locked in a separate room, and she did not care. She made her way in.
There was some statistic I saw from America, and it was like outdoor cats kill like 1 billion birds a year.
Really?
Like 1 billion. That is a lot.
That's
of
crazy.
birds.
That is.
And oftentimes they just want to kill them. Like they're
Yeah.
not hungry. They're just like.
They just want the thrill.
I say like like when his pupils go like this. I'm like, oh no, his ancestors are back, and I'm no longer dad or whatever to him. I'm food.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm glad that Princess is old and she just chill, and she has a little I got a heating blanket a few years ago, and I started putting it out again on the couch, and she full on like she knows when the light's on, like when it's starting to heat up, and she'll go to the heating blanket and she'll just start chilling. And then when it's on, she's just like full out. But when it turns off, because it turns off every 4 hours or something, she'll go on the edge of the couch and just scream.
She wants it back.
She
on.
wants it on.
Yeah, they like that. In the sun, they always lay in the sunlight.
Yeah.
You ever see that time lapse of that beam of light, and it moves as the day goes on? The line of
Yeah,
cats are
and it just-
moving. So funny.
I have a few photos and videos of Princess where when we've only been in our apartment in Hamilton for like 1.5 years or something.
Is that where you're living?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
We've switched.
Yes, we have.
I've come to Langton, and you went to Hamilton.
Yeah. But there's a window right beside of our stove. So like, yeah, that beam of light is going on the stove. And one time I went to the kitchen and she's just sitting there staring at the stove. Just like, I'm like, what is going on? And I guess like, it's like the heat is bouncing off of the stove onto her face.
Oh.
But like, it's so funny in the winter because she looks crazy. She's just sitting there with her eyes closed, like
Just feeling
to the stove.
feeling the heat.
Like,
How-
she's so cute.
How are you liking Hamilton?
I love Hamilton. I just moved that direction because of just work.
I assume.
Yeah.
You're in Toronto a lot.
Yeah, and I love Norfolk. I like to come back as much as I can, see my family. And I still have friends here, so it's like Hamilton's like the middle ground.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And it's a city, but it's not overwhelmingly big.
Yeah.
And it has, I feel, a balance of nature and city.
That's, yeah.
Whereas Toronto, I don't live in Toronto. I've never lived in Toronto, but for the most part, it's just like city.
Yeah.
It's huge.
And I like how I can have a car
Yes.
in Hamilton.
Yes.
I have a driveway, so it's nice.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Are you downtown somewhere?
Yeah, I'm like by the Barton Hospital-ish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so right on the edge of, yeah, it's great. We've been there for 1.5 years.
Cool.
Of course, like the first, I don't know, month I lived there, my car got broken into, so that was sweet. So I have to be careful. I guess it's a city, so.
There's been Walsingham, a car got stolen. Ended up being the mafia had it. There's this whole article
What?
about it. Yep.
In Walsingham?
Yep. They're looking for expensive trucks. I have a Honda Civic, so I don't think I'm a target. I'm talking like the nice trucks.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah.
what they're looking for. So there might be local people or somewhat local people stealing it, and then they give it to the mafia.
Yeah.
I think that's how that works. But these guys from Walsingham actually like followed them and found out where the truck was.
That's crazy.
And then I guess they found the truck, but then this black tinted SUV pulled up and guys stuck guns out the windows at them, which was the mafia in London. It ended up in London. And then this weekend, just over here in Langton, same thing. Tried to steal a truck. Could even be the same pair of guys that probably did the Walsingham one. That would be my guess. And they took a shot at the homeowner
Oh, fuck.
with a gun. It was
That's
at
so
like 10 at
crazy.
night. So it's Langton.
Yeah.
So it can happen
Yeah,
anywhere.
It can happen anywhere, yeah.
That's scary
Crazy.
though, because I feel like if someone's stealing my car, I'd probably confront them or yell at, or at least yell at them like, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Yeah, yes, yeah.
But
Try to
fuck,
stop it. Yeah,
taking a shot is pretty ballsy.
that's scary.
I don't know what went down. Maybe the other guy had a gun, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
That reminds me in Hamilton, I swear to God, I had a gun directed at me when I was driving. It was like super weird. It was, I don't know, a year ago already.
Are we
and-
talking like a road rage type of deal?
No, I was like driving. It was in the middle of the night, and it was kind of close to my house. And yeah, I'm at a stop sign. There's a convenience store to my right, and it looked like some like two guys, hoods, by this convenience store. And I'm minding my business because I was like, it looks weird.
In your car.
Yeah, I'm in my car.
Okay.
And then I'm at the stop sign, looking left to right, waiting because there's cars going. I can't go. And I look over at these guys again, and one's coming up to me, and I swear to God, there's like a gun shape in his hand, and he's coming close to the car. And I just like, it was my time to go now. I can go. Bye. Yeah, that was scary. I did call the non-emergency line. I was like, there might be cameras at that convenience store. I don't know if I want to go check it out. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe the guy was like, I don't know why he was walking to my vehicle like that. And then when I went away, I looked in my mirror and he just like walking back to the convenience store. So what was that about?
Sketchy.
Yeah. So I don't know like what happened there. What it was, but-
Hamilton's gotten a lot better since I've moved away. But it's still obviously like Barton is not. It's a little sketch still.
Yeah.
But even like Main Street and kind of where like all the new restaurants are, like Hamburger, and there's like that diner, and there's a new bread bar location.
Yeah.
That whole area used to be real sketch. And now it's all cleaned up. It's all restaurants, all businesses. Even down, like if you keep going, you go down to Mulberry there. It's cleaned up quite a bit. But obviously there's still lots of issues and homelessness and drugs. And I don't think the heroin epidemic helped anything. Not the heroin epidemic, the
Methadone?
well, the that nasty family.
Fentanyl.
Yeah, fentanyl
fe-
and all
yeah.
that stuff and the painkillers.
Yeah.
What's that family's name? Can you ask Chad who caused the opium epidemic?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm
now.
talking about?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
family? Fuck that family.
Yeah. And there was like they did a Netflix show about it a bit ago.
There's a doc, and I think I watched the reenactment series. Very
Yes.
good.
Oxycontin?
Yeah, oxycodone, yeah.
And the dancing. I remember in that Netflix show, they did the dancing OxyContin things.
Oh, and they would
yeah,
just,
it
like-
was crazy.
I don't want to dive into this, but
Yeah, no. But yeah,
that
didn't help.
definitely didn't help anything.
No.
Because like when I moved away, because my cousin lives downtown, and it was like at least the area he was in was fine. And then we went out to Corktown to see a show, and I was like, there's like tents like everywhere, and before there was nothing, and I was like, what? How long has it been? Like, he's like, oh, like pretty much since COVID.
Yeah.
So it's just yeah.
Yeah, I lived right
It's
by
sad.
Barton. So
That will-
it's cleaning up slowly, but yeah, I know when to not walk down there alone. I like to go my, hot girl walks, and I just know, okay, it's dark, I can't go that direction.
Be safe.
And yeah.
Yeah.
I did get followed once, and I was just going to Shoppers in the middle of the day. It was crazy.
Daytime.
Yeah, it was
People
daytime.
are ballsy.
Yep. Yeah, I was just going to Shoppers really close to my house, and some guy, he's in my face. I don't know what I had my headphones on, so I did the whole
Oh,
I can't,
don't
I
see
can't hear
you.
you.
I
I
don't see you.
can't. Yeah, but he kept going in my face, and then he was waving around a knife,
Oh.
and I
that's
was
no
like, "Oh
fun.
God!" Now I'm like, "What is going on?" So I'm trying to go around this guy, and so I got in Shoppers, and I was like, "Okay, he's not gonna come in here because the guy, he had his shirt off. He was like, you know, not presentable. I was like, okay, I don't think he's the kind of person to come into Shoppers right now, hopefully. So I'm like, okay, I'm safe. I'm going to go buy my thing and wait a little bit and maybe he'll move on. Nope. I'm like in the aisle about to go grab my thing and I look over and it was a full-on arm cross looking at me.
No shirt.
Yeah. No, sorry. No, he had clothes on now.
Oh, now
So he full on, like, he knew what he was doing and he like put his jacket on
He sounds crazy.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, not going to freak out yet. I'm in Shoppers. There's people around. I'll just go to a different alley or not alley, but aisle. So I'm going to a different aisle. No, he's following me.
Oh, see, I would have let an employee know. Like,
Yeah.
hey.
So that's what I did.
Yeah.
And because it was weird. He was like, I was going through different. And of course, during this, I don't find an employee. Like, of course, when he's following me.
Yeah.
So then I finally lost him. I went into like, you know, how Shoppers are all the same in like the little health area. I like hid in the back corner somewhere over there. Then I found an employee and was like, hey, can somebody like help me? This guy
Call
is
the
following.
police, maybe?
Yeah, the guy's following me. Blah blah blah. And she's like, okay, well, I know who you're talking about. We'll
Oh,
distract him
no.
and like you can run away. And I was like, okay, cool. So they like find the guy and they're like talking to him, distracting him, so I can just like run home. And I was like pretty close to home.
So they've clearly dealt with him before.
Yeah. And then that was the day I bought. Well, I don't know if
gun?
it's legal. No, I didn't buy a gun. But I bought
Allegedly.
like dog
Yeah.
spray.
Yeah.
And like obviously I'm not using it to. It's not my.
Look,
but
it is
in case.
illegal to have mace, but if I was a woman living in downtown Hamilton, for sure I
Yeah.
would have
It's just
mace.
in case. And like I've had dogs come at me too.
Yeah.
So it's just.
It's better to have to go through court because you use mace than to get
to
hurt,
be. Yeah. Exactly.
in my opinion.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But other than that, I love Hamilton. I love the art scene.
Oh, the art scene's great.
Yes.
Yeah. I left and then the food and art scene just went, it just blew up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's I was going to say Art Smart. That was a program in high school. The big festival downtown.
Oh yeah, art crawl.
Art Crawl.
Yeah.
That's it. Art Crawl.
I've never I've only been there for now like an hour and a half, a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm hoping to eventually like one Christmas my mom got me like folding tables and stuff to like hang my prints on.
Oh,
and
cool.
like that's I'm hoping to be in the art crawl scene and
I should get you connected with my buddy Josh. He's very much into the whole arts theater scene, dance scene. He's very like outgoing type of. He's a theater kid.
yeah.
Yeah, but he's very much into. There's a lot of artists he's connected with downtown, who do stuff. So
Yeah, I'd love that. That's me going away to New York really reminded me of like the community that I need. And I think I talked about it a bit, but when COVID hit, like I was just like I was a completely different person. I was very lost, not taking photos. And it just like I lost community and like so when I was gone to New York, I made like a little community there in like 4 months. And like I have friends there that I could go visit now.
oh, that's great.
Yeah. And then but then when I came back, I was like, I need that here. Like I need to put myself back out there again. Because in New York I had no choice. Like I had to put myself out there. And now I want to do that here and be like, I'm ready to like come back to Norfolk and be with people here and in Hamilton and
Build
just
something.
like and just
Yeah.
like make a community and make cool art with people here. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, there's some stuff I can talk to you about after that. I can't talk about on the podcast.
Yeah.
But maybe you can be involved in or
okay,
something like that.
I would love that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in a little. I'm in a group chat with a bunch of photographers, but if any of you are listening, I apologize. I'm not in the chat. Drew's in the chat.
I'm in the chat.
I can't keep up with it. They're so excited about photography, and photography means, and at the end of the day, there's like 50 messages, and I was like, oh my god, I have to finish this edit by tonight. I don't have time to read this chat. So sorry, guys. One of them gave me that little. Kyle gave me the little DeLorean there. Kyle, Melissa, but
No.
I think it's hard for at least that group to get together because they're all older and have families.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wonder if there's like a younger kind of group that's into the same thing
Yeah.
around here.
I'm sure there is. I definitely know a few people that I love their work and they're from here.
Yeah.
And then like Hamilton's obviously not Norfolk, but it's close enough. And there's like
There's more people in general.
but there is a place I guess I'll do a little shout out. There's a place called Rooney's in Hamilton, and it's a photo book cafe.
Oh, cool.
So it's all like there's a photographer. Her name's Katie Sadie. Great work. A lot of like photojournalism and documentary. And then she made this photo book cafe. And so I actually did a talk there maybe a year ago already. I don't know, maybe 8 months ago. But yeah, she invited me to do a talk there and show my work on
Cool.
projector and everything. And I was
Cool.
like, what? This is so cool. I made it. But yeah, that's a cool like place to go to.
Nice.
And just
My
community.
mom gave me a Hamilton passport for cafes for Christmas.
Nice.
And I bet you that location is in there.
Probably.
It's pretty thick, and it's like some of them actually have stamps and some don't, but you can just kind of like go, and it tells you where to go and what it's about. And there's a ton. It's going to take me a long time. But now that I didn't realize you were in Hamilton, so now that I come, I'll
let
shoot
me
you a text
know.
like, hey, let's check out this cafe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I recommend.
Okay. Are you into like vinyls and things like that?
Yeah. I got, what was it? Yeah, I got a record player my last birthday,
Okay.
and my boyfriend got it for me. 'Cause
Okay.
I've never had vinyl or anything, and we're like, okay, let's do this now.
There's two really good ones I like to go to in Hamilton. I think the one is closed that they shot the Arkells music video in.
Oh yeah.
I think that closed during COVID. I'm not sure. But there's one around the corner that's like 2 floors.
Is that what one
Right.
is that?
I want to say it's like Dr. something.
Oh, Dr. Disc.
Dr.
Yeah.
Disc.
Yeah.
Is that still there?
Yeah, that's still there.
Okay. So around the corner was another one. And they
Oh, I
shot some
know
Arkells
exactly.
music videos in there, but I think unfortunately it closed.
Huh.
Right on it would be on Main, I guess. Main and sort of in that area there. It's close you can walk to Dr. Disc.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know there is
can't
one
think of
for
it.
walking distance. I think it's right across from James or something. It might be King. It might be on King.
I think that's the one I'm talking about. Sorry, it's
Yeah.
King.
Okay. I know what one you're talking about. I do think they're still open,
Oh, really?
unless if it like maybe it switched people,
Switch owners or something
but
like that.
the location is still there. I'm forgetting the name right now. Of course, I'll walk away and remember it because I was there a year ago or something. Record stores in Hamilton.
What does Joe say to Jamie? What's that term he says? Look it up, Jamie, or pull it up, Jamie. That's it. Pull it
I
up,
love
Jamie.
the keyboard sounds in my ear right now. It's like,
Okay, I just
oh, Into the Abyss.
into the
That's the one
King
that's
Street?
close to Dr. Disc.
Okay, maybe that's the one. It's definitely changed names then.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Yeah, probably different owners.
Oh,
But it's cool. I've been to a concert there. They do shows in the
Oh,
record
really?
store. Yeah. It's really cool. That's why I like Hamilton. You can just like most of the time look up what's going on tonight and you just go to a show and in a record store.
Corktown's great. Augusta is great. If you've been to Augusta,
I don't think so.
although it's like a chain of bars, but great food. Go to the Ship. I
oh
highly
yeah.
recommend.
Yeah,
And they have a nice outdoor patio in the summertime.
Nice.
There's Hess, but I don't know what Hess is like now. I used to go when I was much
Yeah.
younger in the party scene.
I remember when I was 19. That just yeah.
There are a
I
lot
haven't
of
done
bands that
since.
play at certain ones.
Yeah, there's I forget what it's called. But there's like an underground like concert place where they'd have like heavy metal bands there
Okay.
in a bar on Hess.
Oh, it's near Hess. I don't think it's quite in Hess.
Oh.
It's on a corner. I've been there. I've seen some metal bands there.
Yeah.
Not that I'm
There's
into
like a
metal,
bar
but
downstairs and then you go upstairs
Yes.
and it's like, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I think there's a bar on the main level, like a regular bar, and then you
Yeah.
go downstairs. Yeah, I've seen some weird. The one band, they wore headlamps.
I know who you're talking
You know
about.
what I'm
The
talking about?
jumpsuits.
Yes, and they
Cute.
face the other way.
Yeah.
They just face the other
They're
way.
While
Cool.
playing music?
They're
Yeah,
cool.
it's like grunge, which I'm not really into. And I'm not into metal music either,
Mm-hmm.
but
the
I was there to
performance sounds
I was there to
worth
see
it.
a friend's band. They're opening. And they're like, well, let's stay and see and that was the band.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're called Cute because I've seen them a few times.
Cute. That's
Yeah.
hilarious. Yeah, not my vibe. But I was like, oh, this is like very creative, and I like this.
Yeah.
Just the way they're going about it. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll stay for this.
Yeah. For sure.
I don't like the angry music. I don't know.
when I was in high school, if you knew me in high school, no, you didn't. I was a girl, yeah, at the Swoop and everything.
Were you a little gothic?
Not gothic, but yeah, I went to a lot of metal shows, did the whole moshing thing.
Okay.
I wore the full on like colored, like bright yellow, bright orange, like skinny jeans.
Okay.
Like that kind of, I don't
Okay.
know. Like that was a weird vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, dyed my hair full black, had like the red in it
Okay.
and the swoop.
You had the vibe.
Yeah, I had the vibe, but there was, yeah, I went to like, I don't know, I must have been like 15 or 16 and did the whole moshing thing. And there was at one time, actually here in Langton, at the old Hideaway, I think, what's it called now?
Ooh,
The fried chicken
Oh,
place.
the front porch.
front porch.
Yes. It used to be called the Hideaway. And there was like, I don't know what they would call it. Not a production company, but like they did a lot of shows in Norfolk. And so there was always one at the Hideaway, like almost every weekend, metal
It would
shows.
be a production company.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. And yeah, I would always go with one group of friends. And one time we were moshing and I like pulled out my friend's hair extensions and
Oh,
then I
no.
fell
No.
and then I had my bright yellow skinny jean pants and blood going. Like I was just a vibe. Like I didn't know I had ADHD until I was 25. So I was doing a lot of questionable things.
See, I knew. I got diagnosed when I was 12.
Okay, yeah.
I just didn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
I took Ritalin as a kid. I just never noticed a difference.
Okay.
But yeah, dealing with it now, and it's great.
Yeah, now you know and like
Well, and I've had some experience as an adult on how to deal with it.
Yep.
Organization is terrible. It's my number one issue. Mm-hmm. And, just staying on task and completing tasks.
Yep.
Because you get bored. You get bored before it's done. Yep. And you're already on to the next one.
100%.
And people who don't have it, I feel like get frustrated and they're like, well, just do it. I'm like, it's not that simple. It's not how it works.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It's hard for them to empathize because they just have never dealt with it. But
Yeah.
it's gruesome.
It really is. And like when you don't know, like again, when I was a kid, I knew something was wrong. And I literally went to my mom and I said, I think I have ADHD. I have something. But again, as a woman, like as a girl, it's different.
It's very undiagnosed in women.
Yes.
So I've heard. So, I'm blanking. ADHD coach.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Adrian?
No.
Not Adrian.
I'm so sorry. So many names.
Yeah, I get it.
Fuck.
Not Adrian?
Can you please pull it up?
I know.
I don't want to do him a disservice. Why am I blanking on his name? I'm terrible with names. Aaron. Sorry.
Aaron.
Fuck. Sorry, Aaron.
Not Adrian.
Aaron Bailey. He was talking about how it's very undiagnosed in women and how most women go throughout their life.
Yeah. And like I knew something was wrong. Like I was having trouble in school. I was good at a lot of things, but couldn't I was good at things, but not a master at anything. I needed help with geography. Like I barely passed it. Like
Were you hyper can't sit still or can't focus?
I'm both.
Oh, you're both. Oh, you
Yeah.
got, you
So
got
I'm
'em all.
diagnosed now.
Nice.
Yeah. So I was always that loud kid. When I was young, people said that I was like bubbly and smiley, but in my head, I was like all over the place. Yeah. And then I just did a lot of like questionable things. I was putting myself in bad situations. And then, yeah, that's how I fell into photography because it was the one thing that like grounded me somehow. It was funny because in high school, so I jumped around a lot in Norfolk. Like we've just moved a lot. Like I went to Langton Public, I went to Walsh Public, I went to Port Rowan, went to St. Williams before it closed down. And just
So, like no routine.
no. So I was moving all the time. And then in high school, I went to Valley and I was there until grade 11. And I had to move because I was just like, I was depressed. I was like, I didn't feel like I belonged in that school. And no wrong to school. I still have friends from that school. But I just didn't belong. And it's such a small school. It's 400 kids. Like, I just couldn't.
That's wild.
Yeah, like all together.
They closed my high school in Hamilton because it didn't have enough kids and it had more than 400.
Really?
I started, had 1,500, I think.
Wow.
And it closed when it was around 500. But yeah, anyway, sorry to interrupt.
No,
Yeah, that's small.
It's really small.
Yeah.
And I just didn't feel like I fit in there. And well, I needed some classes that Valley didn't have. So I transferred to HT when I was in grade 12. So come from a 400 kid school, show up in grade 12.
To a huge one.
To a huge one.
uniforms.
Uniforms.
Very
I had bright blue hair.
Oh no,
Yeah. And
that's
like,
the devil, Alex. No,
oh,
I-
Yeah.
oh, it was.
I assume it wasn't allowed.
No, it was allowed,
Oh, okay.
but the kids, like, I have still friends there from HT now. And like, but at first, you know, you're in high school and people like, who's
You're
this
different.
weird girl from
Yeah.
Valley with bright blue hair? And I already had a tattoo by then. I already had my nose pierced.
Rebel.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
had this one. I don't regret it, but
It's a
I was
big
like,
one.
it was big. Yeah, it's like
What is
here to here. It's,
As a first tattoo?
yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. So again, didn't know how to ADHD, and I was just like,
Impulsive.
I was very
Yeah.
impulsive.
Yeah,
Now I have
struggle
it
with that.
under control. To be honest, like I think I've gotten one tattoo since I was diagnosed with ADHD, because I just don't. Now when I feel the impulses and like, okay, I'm lacking something. What is it? Go work out.
probably
Go.
Got a
Dopamine.
tattoo.
Yeah, exactly. So I just like don't have that itch anymore.
That's good.
It's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm unmedicated.
You're not medicated?
No, I've
Okay.
tried stuff. I was on Vyvanse for a while, and I was getting stuff done. It was great, but COVID. I don't know if it's because of the Vyvanse or COVID or whatever, but pretty much like my heart is like I have a heart murmur. I found out, and I'm constantly having heart palpitations.
So that's not
Vyvanse is no.
good. No, that's a no-no.
Yeah. So
Well,
I
I
had-
guess you can't take any really. There's maybe a
No.
couple,
yeah,
and
and
that's if it works.
Yeah, so I've tried some other stuff, but I haven't found something that works. So I'm on that supplement game. Gonna take all my,
Nice.
I took my,
Lion's
Exercise,
mane.
good diet.
yeah,
That's the best you can do.
yeah. So took some of my fish oil omega-3s today.
Nice. I got those upstairs. Yeah. Cod
Yeah.
liver oil.
Yeah, the supplement game. Yeah.
I really like. I take athletic greens.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like a green powder.
Do you put it in a smoothie or something?
Just water.
Okay.
But you can put it in a smoothie. You can put it in
Yeah.
anything. So I like to take that. But vitamin D,
Yeah.
especially in the winter.
Yeah.
But I actually was talking to my family doctor a while ago, and she's like, you should be taking vitamin D every day, even in the summertime, just because we don't get enough,
Yeah.
apparently. I thought it was just like, oh, it's winter time, there's not as much sun, take your vitamin D, but it's very important,
Yeah. For
especially during COVID. We've all learned.
sure. Yeah. COVID,
And-
I'm still processing it. I can't believe it's been. I don't want to go down that route, but it's just like time warp.
If that's what I say, it feels like a blip. Oh,
Yeah.
Can you get me something?
Oh, nice.
Kind of vibe in
That's
here.
cool.
Sorry, this is very limited non-alcoholic, but I think
No,
there
that's
might be
okay. I
some
still
in
have
there.
my mocktail.
Just no, not a cottage spring. There's something else. It's not that either. Ooh, can you get me a old vintage? Sorry, I'm making you do work.
Yeah. I'll be a jerk. Can you pass me my drink?
Here, you got it? Yeah, it's a tosser. Thank you. I used to drink twisted teas when I was in my younger days.
Yeah.
Too much sugar.
Yeah.
This?
And those hangovers suck. Oh my god.
Hangers suck in general.
Yeah.
I generally will like one drink, maybe two if I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
I've never had an issue with alcohol. I just, obviously, if I'm at a party, I sometimes will get a little silly,
Yeah.
but never to the point of like being sick.
Yeah. I think I was telling you earlier. Yeah. I was crazy. I don't want to, I guess, use the word crazy, but again, didn't really like realize the ADHD and
Addiction.
the effect of the disease of addiction. And I thought I could hang out with my friends and do the Norfolk what is it when you pop the can and
Oh, a shotgun?
Shotgun.
I thought I could do
Yeah.
the shotgun.
I
and-
mean, I don't know what that is. Do you know what that is?
I love shotgun.
yeah,
We have a buddy that used to have a thing on his necklace for it. We won't say
No.
who it is, but
that's I thought I could keep up and hang out with people and party like that, but then I found myself in questionable thing, like to the point of blacked out. And we all probably have had that once in a while.
Yes.
But it was to the point where like I was losing
Consistent.
friends.
consistently.
Yeah, I was losing
Yeah.
people would be like, "Why did you do that? Like, what are you doing?" I was very depressed and just like ruining friendships left and right because I just didn't know when to stop.
And you'll spiral because you'll look for an out, and alcohol and things
Yeah.
are an out or a temporary break.
So now I just like, I went to, when I was in New York, I went to a Broadway show and we saw Elf. It was amazing.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
It was so beautiful. Like, there was a point where
Sorry, I have
What?
seen it. I have seen it. Sorry.
Yeah?
I have seen it. I saw it in Hamilton.
Oh,
A little
okay.
different, but still, I think it was still Broadway.
Yeah.
Or facilitated
Yeah.
by Broadway.
But they had this one moment where, like, I'm getting, like, off track. But anyway, I had a glass of wine at Broadway. Like, I can do that sometimes, but then I don't even finish the drink half the time. I'm like, I just spent, Broadway, how much is this little thing of
$12.
$20 with
$20,
conversion,
yeah.
like-
Oh yeah, conversion.
the conversion was so bad. Yeah, but
That's good. That's great.
yeah, so
That's
I can
good.
have like stuff like that, but I just don't.
Indulge.
Yeah, and I've just learned, and I just know when to stop now.
Mm-hmm.
And I totally like I'm fine with being around people who are drinking and stuff, but I just like I can't. Yeah, like we don't have to go down this route, but I lived in Banff for a little bit.
Oh, I
and-
would like to talk about Banff. We don't have to talk about dark things. But,
Yeah.
But Banff, I would love to talk about.
Yeah,
Cooper
but
would
I was in
talk about it too.
I was in Banff, and obviously that's a beautiful area, beautiful time in my life. I just finished college, and it was a little like reward to myself because I'm the first one in my family to go to college. I was
Oh.
told not to go to college because my family was just afraid of like the money, and they're like, no. I told my family, hi, I want to go to school for photography for 4 years. And my parents were like, no, you don't. They told me to work at the factory.
Excuse me. Art is a stretch for people who don't come from it, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, or have any experience with it.
Yeah, so that was fine. But I told my parents, F you, I'm doing it.
Good for you.
Yeah, so, but Banff was like my reward to myself. Like, oh, you did it. You somehow made it through. You paid for it yourself. You did 4 jobs during school.
Wow. Good for you. That is an accomplishment.
Thank you. Yeah. And then Banff, I went to Banff. Then there was one moment where, I had drank myself too much, and my roommate came to me and she was like, don't ever do that again. And that was like a wake up call where it was like, okay, I've met these great people from all over the world.
And Banff is a drinking town.
Oh, it
it's
was.
party capital. Yeah.
Yeah, but I almost really hurt myself. And I was like, okay, I can't keep doing this. But yeah.
I was 19.
Oh, when you were in Banff?
Yeah. And we
In a party town.
partied a lot.
Yeah.
Like ragers, like cops shutting down ragers. But
Wow.
I was part of this group. It's called
Bad Boys.
I don't want to talk about it because fuck them.
Uh,
You know what? I'm not even gonna bring it up.
Okay.
They don't even deserve to be spoken of. I will tell you what it
Whoa.
is after.
All
It was
right.
this program. They had a bunch of houses in the program. Blah blah blah. So there was almost like a built-in community before you even kind of showed up. Like people were all part of this thing. So it was much, oh, you're at this house. Oh, you're at this house, but it's all part of this one program.
yeah.
Hogwarts.
Sort of. We're all in like houses, right?
Yeah.
But I lived on bottom of Tunnel Mountain there, so on Grizzly Street. So I was at Grizzly House, and then there's another friend at like Otter House, which was Otter Street.
Did we live? I lived in Otter House.
You lived in Otter House?
I worked for Banff. Should I say it? No.
Did
for a
you-
photography company in Banff,
Oh, okay.
and it was
You weren't
we
like-
called it Otter House.
You weren't like in a program though.
Yeah, I guess not.
Okay,
So,
cool.
but
Probably for the best.
but
Nightmare.
yeah,
Yeah, I love Banff. That's great.
it was. I think about it a lot. I have a bunch of photos. Oh,
Wait.
hello.
He likes drinks and he likes alcohol.
Look at his tail wagging.
Just specific. He likes whiskey. He'll drink straight whiskey.
Oh, yeah.
He's a crazy person.
I used to do that in college. That's when I had a problem.
Straight whiskey.
Full on, my birthday gifts, Christmas gifts were just bottles of whiskey, and I'd walk around with the bottle and just chug it.
Oh, one of those.
Damn.
Yeah.
See, I like bourbon, but like on the rocks in a glass, and I'll have one
Yeah.
or two.
Yeah. I was crazy. It was not a good time. At the time, it was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, now it's just like I can't even smell it because I'm like a girl.
So what were you doing in Banff? You were working for a photography company?
Yeah, so I worked. I was at the canoe docks, and on Lake Louise, and doing the whole
Oh.
tourists on the canoe. They'd come back and take their photo.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for the actual resort.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So was I, but I was on the ski side.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, across the road.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were at the hotel.
No, so it was like a contractor.
Okay.
So I was living in Banff in a house with, I don't know, it was like 6 or 7 other people.
Okay.
And then we would either take a bus in, or we were sometimes given the company vehicle to drive to Lake Louise.
Okay.
Yeah, but they had like the mileage on it.
Okay.
We had to like. I thought about this the other day. We had to write down our mileage.
In case you did a detour to Canmore or something.
Yeah, we got caught once. There was the Northern Lights one night, and the whole house said,
Let's
F
go.
it, we are
Fuck it.
taking the car.
I would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
Worth it for sure.
And then I don't know how they checked it, like, because we had the car in the driveway, and I think the boss would come over and just unlock it and look at the mileage, and he was like, why is there like 15 extra kilometers? And we're like,
Oh.
like, we didn't go see the pretty lights. Like, it's fine.
Don't know. Ironically, the best Northern Lights I've seen is right here in Langton.
What?
Yeah, in November. It was nuts, just exploding over the house.
I
like
missed
I
all
dancing.
remember when I was in New York.
Oh, you were in New York, Cam.
And I was like, wow, this is happening when I'm gone.
Yeah.
I saw them a little bit in Banff, but they were like way off in the distance, and they were just like beams.
Yeah.
But here,
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen them.
crazy.
So beautiful.
The eclipse, though, I saw that. That was.
I was on a vacation,
Oh yeah. I saw
Really?
and I could see it with glasses, but not like it because
Yeah,
I was
you
down.
didn't get, like, the
I was in New York City actually.
darkness.
I was on a cruise and it was taking off out of New York City.
Oh, cool.
So sadly, I missed it.
Nice.
The 1 in 100 year, well, at
Yeah.
least in this location.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was working on a show. I don't know what to call it.
During the eclipse.
Yeah, so I was working on a YouTube show.
Okay.
It's these girls that I work for sometimes. I have to tell them I'm back. But yeah, we were doing renovations. Like I was a videographer. They were doing renovations in this house in Toronto. Beautiful condo with like a roof. So we all just like, okay, take a break, go stand on the roof. But yeah, we were in Toronto downtown, and so we didn't really see the full.
Oh,
I forgot.
bummer.
what they,
Oh, really?
I don't think we saw the totality.
Did it not get like
or-
dark?
It got dark for 1 second.
Oh really?
But we didn't see like we had the
Whoa.
glasses on, but we didn't get to see the like
Okay.
rings. You
That's
know what I mean?
crazy. I thought it doesn't seem that far away, right? From
Yeah.
Toronto to here, because I was at Eco Adventures, and yeah, it got
It was
dark for a bit.
You were
Really?
telling me all the animals started
And
freaking
the
out. 'cause they
the
thought it
pond
was
there was going
night.
nuts. Like all the
Ah.
animals were chirping and the frogs were going nuts. It was like, whoa.
Do you know how confusing that would be for like a
Oh, for
nocturnal
sure.
frog?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's night and they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah.
that's funny.
That was a really cool experience.
I'm really bummed out. I'm gonna have to travel somewhere
I'm 100% gonna do that one day.
because I think it happens every year. Or every 2 years at somewhere on the earth, but sometimes it can be in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
So you just kind of have to like figure out where it's going to be. I don't think so. Also, I didn't realize the shadow was so small. I thought it was going to cover like a good portion of the province, but it didn't even it didn't even get hit Toronto really. Like
every 18 months.
I have to deal with this cat. Give me a minute.
Okay.
See, and when it happened, like I thought, I put my drone up in the air because I'm like I'm gonna see the shadow like come, but it didn't. It just all of a sudden I wasn't high enough. Obviously, like I was in the air, I could see pretty far, but
Yeah.
all of a sudden it just got dark. I'm like, oh, that didn't work, and I had to panic and like land that so I could get some photos.
You
and
got a
stuff.
great photo though.
I did. I was really happy with that. That was a cool thing to get.
What do they call it when it covers it and you can just see the ring of the sun? It has a term. I can't.
Is that the totality?
Yeah, I guess with totality,
Oh,
but
it's a
I
ring.
think that ring has a word, has a term for it.
What is the ring called?
Ring
of Fire.
Oh, it's literally called the Ring of Fire.
Badass.
That is cool.
That was a really cool photo, though. I printed it off and put it on my wall.
Yeah.
But it was very like cropped in, so even like the print, like I got just like whatever the 4x7 print is, standard print, and it's like still like a little pixely. It looks great on your phone.
You can clean it up.
Yeah, I put like the super whatever on Lightroom. So Lightroom.
Dehancer.
Yeah,
Not
or
enhancer.
enhancer.
Or I don't know.
Super resolution.
I should know that.
Button. Yeah.
Do you tamper with your photos much?
No.
No, not at all.
It's usually like very minimal. Yeah, I could never be an editor because I want my photos to be like as authentic and raw as they can be. So there might be some like clarity enhancer, sharpener, or contrast, or take some of the highlights away, like stuff like that. Or if there's a light switch in the back that I don't like, I'll take it out, but nothing crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, I want it to be as like, somebody came up to me a bit ago and they're like, your photos are so raw, and I'm like, that is exactly what
That's
I want.
the first word I used. Yeah, for yours.
Thank you.
It's a cool style. I like it. There's
I-
a few photographers where it's like you can tell. I love when you can look at someone's photo and be like, that's theirs, and like you have that. Jonah has that.
Jonah, yeah. I love Jonah's work.
Yeah, he's.
I
got
saw
really
him a
cool
bit
work.
ago. He's so nice and lets me borrow his stuff because
He's
I don't
great.
have a lot of gear. So it's like, Jonah, I had a really important photo shoot. 2 days ago. It was a photo shoot of my old high school photographer. Of my old high school photo teacher from when I went to HT.
Oh, nice.
Mr.
And
Phillips.
yeah.
Are you HT kid?
Oh heck yeah!
Oh.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Because I was
I
only
love
there
God.
for a year or something. So
And I was probably gone.
yeah.
Hill
So I'm-
Park.
I'm a '93.
Hill Park.
Hamilton.
do you know where Hill Park
No,
is?
no.
It's like kind of near Limeridge Mall. When you're driving up the
up the
mountain,
mountain.
there's like those soccer fields.
Yeah.
That's fortunately it's closed.
Oh, okay.
But
Rip.
every school or program that my wife has touched has been closed. I don't know. It's this weird
It's a
thing.
curse.
I don't know, but like her grade school is closed. Our middle school that we met at is closed. Our high school is closed. Her college program that she took is closed. Everything.
My college
Gone.
program got closed.
Really?
Yeah. At
Was you-
Sheridan.
Oh, you're a Sheridan student, photography.
Yeah.
Is it the same that Lakin took?
Yeah.
Oh, same program.
Yeah.
So that closed.
Yeah. Which is just like, it's mind blowing because it's the best photography school in like Northern America. So I don't know.
Some of the most talented people in the industry that I've met are Sheridan alumni.
Yeah.
Whether film or photography.
Yeah. Film. I made a lot of friends in the film program. So that's how
Yeah.
I ended up doing. I'm mostly in locations. And so, working for the
You're
doing
saying
permits.
because are you in a union?
I was.
You was.
I
You-
was in
you
the
was.
sustainability union.
Right.
Yeah. So
Right.
I've worked on a few Netflix shows. One just came out a bit ago, but I was a sustainability coordinator,
Can
which
I ask
was
what show that was?
The Madness.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will
so,
look it up.
Coleman Domingo, isn't it?
Okay.
That was crazy because I've been on bigger sets before, but I was like, the other parts were I was a bit of a coordinator and / PA. So I was just like kind of running around and didn't go to the tech surveys, all that kind of stuff. But for the Madness, I was at every tech survey. I was in the logistic meetings with people that are like big producers and have done shows I've watched on Netflix or
Yeah.
movies and stuff.
Yeah,
And I
you're
was like,
hanging out with the production coordinator, and
it was terrifying.
it's nuts.
Yeah, and that was a full on like that was an experience, but it was really cool. I don't see myself like you can do a bunch of things just to make money but I got a little distracted for a little bit. I was doing a little too many things. I was doing PA work, I was a location manager, and then I was doing stills and sustainability, so I wasn't really working on my photography.
It's a very ADHD trait.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
That's my issue.
Yeah. So it's just a little too many things, and I'm doing a PA job in 2 weeks to make money. But I think with this whole like the New York experience and like I feel like I guess we're always like rebuilding ourselves, but I feel like a whole new person. But now there's like it feels like there's an arrow. There's like, okay, I found my way back to my portrait work, and now there's something to work towards. Because for a little bit, I was shooting music videos and I was doing the location stuff, and it was just all over the place. So people would be like, hey, like, what do you do? I'm like, oh, I'm this and this and this and this and this. And I don't know if I fully like agree. You always have to like niche down to one thing, but it was a little too many things. So now there's an arrow that I can go towards and like, okay, now I know what to pitch myself. Now I know like to keep shooting. this one thing. So
Hello, Just Drew listeners. No, this isn't another advertisement. We just wanted to thank you for listening to the podcast and for supporting us in doing what we love to do. And we wanted to let you know how you could support us even further. If you subscribe to us on YouTube, hit the little bell icon so you can get notified when a new episode comes up. If you're not subscribed to us on YouTube, go subscribe to us on YouTube. It will really help us out. Even if you don't listen on YouTube and you listen just on Spotify or wherever else you get your podcasts, go and subscribe to us. If you have a Gmail, you already have a YouTube account and you can go ahead and subscribe. If you predominantly listen to us on YouTube, go follow us on Spotify. Go do the reverse. Go and support us on other platforms. If you listen to us on Spotify, leave a review, rate us, give us 5 stars. Any kind of feedback, support, follows, hit the bell icon on our Instagram channel. That'll also keep you up to date with all of our posting and upcoming guests and exciting things like that. That's about it. Now back to the podcast. Thank you. I've always struggled with that, because I like a lot of things. I like too many things, and I wanted to be a DP and a director and an editor, but I've kind of fallen back more on like a directing type of role, and it is part of it is logistics, because I live here, and there's not an industry here, and so it's hard, and I can't be a day player because I would be commuting 4 hours a day every day. Much, yeah. And as valuable as that experience would be, being a PA or whatever on sets, I can't do it.
Yeah, I was doing that for a bit when I lived at home. Like, my parents are 10 minutes away from here.
Gruesome.
And I was driving, at least at the sets I was on was mostly in Hamilton. Mm-hmm. But still, that's an hour and a half, like, every day.
Yep.
Like, it's too much. But I think I don't know. I really appreciate, like, what you guys have done for Norfolk. So I don't want to go, like,
thank
cry.
you.
But, like, I've always thought that, like, I don't know, just the creativity you guys have brought to Norfolk, I think, is really cool and bringing people together. So
thanks.
You're welcome.
It's kind of the goal.
Yeah.
I like people. I like community.
Little shoulder.
I like hanging out with people.
I like hanging out with people too. I like your cocktails too.
Yes.
Thank you.
And the one today,
do you say that
mocktail?
every episode?
I think. Do you
No.
notice that?
Yeah.
The one you hated because you were hungover and I put egg whites in it.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was the lavender haze.
You're right. Yeah. I really like that one. But to be fair, you had a wedding the night before.
Yeah, and I think it was Jen too.
I pay him to say that, actually. Drew, I like this cocktail you made.
Yeah. Just laying up for the future.
Yeah.
Something in the future.
Yeah, maybe. So I've just leaned into other interests. I just had to pivot, really, because my dream for the longest time was to be a director in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And then you start to learn about the industry, and you're like, oh, maybe I don't want to do this. Or maybe
those days are too long.
Maybe the process, like people are 16, 18-hour days.
Yeah.
So, I've kind of just like taken a step back and just trying to approach it as I do like what Jesse does, and it's intermittent directing, and he's able to live where he lives.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of following that model. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah.
Until I met him.
That's what I'm trying to figure out, because when I went to New York, people, like, I had a lot of pressure to move to New York, and there still is.
To me, it's like you can definitely do it without living there, but if you live in a hub or a film hub, you'll progress faster.
Yeah.
So there's a trade-off. Mm-hmm. Do you want to sacrifice where you actually want to live where the hub is?
Yeah.
LA, Vancouver, New York, Toronto. Those are kind of like the artsy film scenes, photography scenes. So, if you want to be really aggressive about it, or if you're young and you're just trying it out and you're not 28 or 30, fucking go for it.
28 and 30 is still very young.
It's still very young.
It doesn't feel like
31 even is also very young as well.
But I mean, like, if you're 18, you can move to this city, try it out for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, no, that's,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
But
I get it.
Yeah, I love New York. I've been there a bunch of times.
It was, I've never traveled before. Never had, like, came from a single mom, didn't have money to do anything. So, this was a big deal This was like when I did the crowdfunding on GoFundMe and did a video and was like, this is life changing. Like, I was not exaggerating. Never thought this would happen. Like the way that I was raised and the way I like grew up, like my mental health really like was all over the place. So I never even thought New York or anything like that was a possibility, or even to do photos.
That's the biggest one to go to.
Yeah. So to have like Chris Buck, he's also from Toronto.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. So yeah, he's from Toronto. I don't know what year he moved to New York, but
Can you pull up a quick bio of Chris Buck?
yeah.
I know his
He's-
work.
Yeah.
honestly,
Everyone has seen something.
My
from-
favorite one is the, what do you call them? The Lederhosens?
Yeah.
Or is that the term?
The one with
Lederhosen?
I know what you're talking about.
With
Oh no, you gotta do. There's so
Wiki?
many.
Is
You
that-
gotta
there's
do
a bunch of
I
Chris
know.
Bucks.
Chris
Is
Buck
this not him?
photographer.
This is him.
No,
Oh,
it's not.
No.
This one's him.
That one's him.
Okay.
So he actually, I could bring that. He actually did a project about other Chris Bucks. Yeah, so he made
I
a
like that a
series
lot.
where he
That's
just found Chris
funny.
Bucks and
I like
photographed them. So that work is really great.
I saw an interesting one. I don't know where the artist was from. I don't even know if I can find it, but Drew can maybe find it. It was doppelgangers. And they were
Yeah.
photographing doppelgangers. And they're unrelated to each other, but literally look like twins. And I saw this circulating around on Reddit, and I was like, this is such a fascinating like idea.
Huh.
Like freakishly alike.
Because doppelgangers are like
It's crazy.
not twins.
It's just people who look like each
Yeah.
other.
It's scary. I get
Chase-
that a
Chase
lot.
Jarvis?
I have people message me all the time. Hey, where are you here? No. And then I get that a lot. So there's somebody that looks like me out there.
Francois Burnell spent 12 years tracking down real life doppelgangers.
Oh, that sounds about right. Is there any images? Scroll down. Oh, rip.
Doesn't want me to scroll.
Okay.
Give me a. Right.
Cool beans. That's fine.
Cool beans.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
It's okay.
Some are close. Some are freaky.
That looks close.
Like what?
Those are freaky.
What?
Oh.
Even like their little smile and the mustache. It's weird when they have the same facial hair too. It's like
Like no relation.
not only do you look the exact same, but you also are like, yeah, this is. Well, I guess it makes sense. Like this is the look.
Scary. Oh, that one's creepy too.
That sucked to have the one with the less hair.
How long would this take?
Like, oh, you got
Like
the
how-
hair.
That's pretty
It's 12
close.
years. It said.
Oh, 12 years?
Wow, that
Yeah,
one's.
these. It's so interesting.
that one's
Some of them just look like
close.
old and younger versions of each other.
Yeah, that's
Like
true.
that looks like the older version of that guy.
Whoa.
Yeah, they look like a rock band.
Yeah.
Or like a.
But like, what an interesting concept.
Wonder
So,
how
do you ever
do that.
approach your photography with themes now?
Oh, they both have like.
It always has to do with like. I always talk about it. It has to do with mental health. So
That's your base.
that's the base. And then it will like obviously depend on who it is. If
Yeah.
they come to me and they want photos that they can use for their business, but also can be used like artistically. Like it, I obviously have to get what they need, but I always like we always have a long talk, and I go okay, like, but I just want to again like capture people as authentically as I can. So we always have like with the subjects we have long talks, and sometimes I don't even touch my camera for a bit because they're going off on something that's going on about their life. So I let them have their moment and then can photograph them after they
That's
have
great.
a talk. And I think the next move is like, I want to be, what's the word? I need to do some like sort of certificate or some course or something that I can be actually like able and like qualified to be able to like have people come to me about mental health things.
I
So
see.
not like I don't want to be like a full-on therapist or psychologist
like
or
a
something,
counselor of some kind.
yeah, or like I've heard the thing of like peer support. So I want to be like, I want to have the tools. If somebody comes to a photo shoot and they're really having a really bad day, and I need to have the tools to like help them. So I think that's the next move. And like,
I think it's similar
That
to like
sounds
an
so nice.
Aaron's situation because he doesn't have a degree to be a psychologist, but he does deal with youth and ADHD, and he's
Yeah.
qualified to do that. But he's not a doctor,
yeah,
so that would take you 8 years.
Yeah.
You're young though.
I guess.
So young.
36.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not bad. It's interesting because before I wanted to do photography, I was really set on doing social work.
Okay.
So it's interesting to see like how my photography is like a part of, like, obviously it's not social
Blending,
work,
I
but they
wonder-
blend.
There's another person I can connect. I know a social worker in Hamilton
Oh yeah.
who works downtown with homeless.
Oh.
I don't know if that's a scene you'd want to go into. Can be dangerous.
Yeah.
But that's what she does.
Wow.
Non-for-profit social working. So.
That's something that I wanna photograph for non-for-profits.
Okay. I can at least introduce you.
Yeah, for sure.
If you don't want to, just do what you want.
Yeah. I did a project last year with United Way.
Okay.
So that's a non-for-profit.
I think that's what she works for.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
pretty sure.
Okay.
I'd have to ask. She's dating my cousin.
Oh, okay.
I'd have
Yeah.
to ask him.
Yeah, but I got to photograph 2 people, and they have their life story, and went to United Way for help, and now they work for United Way,
Oh, cool.
which is really cool. So I got to photograph them, and that's stuff that I'm really passionate about, and the recovery, and I talk about my mental health a lot, and I put it out there in the world because that's how I keep sane. And now I've realized that I'm sure some people look at that and go, oh, like, she might be weak, or like, do I want to work with her because she talks about mental health a lot? But then there's some people that get it probably and go, I trust her because she gets it. And like, I want to be able to talk to her. And,
I think that's good. It weeds out the people who you actually want to work with.
yeah.
Everybody's not meant for everybody.
Exactly. Yeah. So I just want to keep photographing authentic things. Yeah. I'm really excited for some of I photographed somebody in Brooklyn that I haven't posted yet. And it was like the day before I was leaving. So it was like, this was the last day that she could and the last day I could. So we're making it work.
Cool.
And she let me in. Like, we were both having an off day. Like, I was overwhelmed. Like, I'm leaving the next day. Oh my God, 4 months is already done. And she was having an off day, and she really let me in. And we took really beautiful portraits, and she even cried to me. And then I got you could see, I didn't get photos of her crying, but I got a photo of her after, and you could just feel the emotion. And I was just like, thank you for letting me in. That's so cool.
That's that image that it'll be so different from anyone else.
Yeah.
Any other photo you'll take, it's like that raw, the raw, authentically raw.
Yeah, exactly.
To get true emotion in a photo, I feel like that's very hard to get.
It is. Yeah, it's very hard. So I'm sure some people, I've had somebody be like, it's really going to take this long. Like, somebody asked me for a portrait, and I asked for 4 hours. Because a process with me, it's not, I'm just showing up for an hour and go click, click. It's we need to get into it.
Yeah.
We need to have chats. We need to try different locations, different outfits. I don't want to rush it.
And them loosening up can change posture too. I've watched this great photographer. I can't think of his name. He's New York based, I think, but he was just, you can tell the guy was tense and nervous, and he was coaxing him into relaxing his body. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, boom, his posture in the photo looks 10 times better than what it was, because they're not all stiff and nervous. So
yeah,
that's also hard, just working with nervous people who don't like to be in
that
front of
is.
a camera.
I think it's cool because when I was in college, I always helped other photographers in my program and was the model.
Yeah.
And I try to do that sometimes. I tell my friends to take photographs of me if you need, and being able to be on both sides is really helpful.
Oh, for sure.
Because then I remember when I'm taking the photo and I'm like, oh yeah, this is how I felt. They're probably feeling a similar way. How can I help that? Or there has been times where I've been in front of the camera and I'm like, I don't really like the vibe that's going on here. And I just take note, be like, okay, I don't want to act like this. I don't want to be that. And that's fine. Everyone has their things, but I'm like, okay, I've learned that I just need to go a different direction or something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I didn't come from I come from landscape and commercial products.
Yeah.
Social media.
That's a whole different.
Yeah. And then I got into portraits later in life, in my mid 20s. But then I was like, well, how do you post people?
Yeah.
And then I learned it's very much about getting comfortable with who you're posing. Mm-hmm. It's good to know poses, have a Rolodex. I watched this. I went to this seminar in Vegas, and he had a deck of playing cards and they had poses on them.
Oh, that's
And he just
smart.
keeps them in his pocket and he just like pulls them out. I'm like, oh, this is a good one. Like,
Yeah. I think I know somebody that she had a good idea. She puts like Pinterest like pictures or her own pictures like on her SD card, and then when she's like doesn't know what direction to go, flips back to the
smart.
first.
And
Yeah.
then you don't, then because I've done it where I have it saved
On
on
your
my phone, but
phone.
then I'm like, oh, let me look at my phone. They
Yeah.
just like, oh,
That's
I'm looking at
smart.
the pictures.
Yeah.
Sneaky smart.
Yeah.
I like
But
that.
I need to work on again my organization and prepping.
Oh yeah,
that
I could
much.
never
Like,
actually.
oh,
do
I
that,
gotta.
but-
Yeah.
I have a Pinterest for the pod, especially like for you. I had it up, but I don't need to show you because you know. But people who have never taken a portrait in their life have come on this podcast. I'm like, hey, look, here's a bunch of poses, and these are what I like to shoot. But if there are any that kind of are inspiring you, like, let's do that one.
Yeah.
And also, you kind of have to vibe the personality too. If they're a little more outgoing, like, okay, let's try some cool ones.
Yeah.
If they're a little reserved, like, that's fine. You just sit in your natural position. Okay.
Yeah.
It's nothing crazy.
Yeah.
Mostly for the thumbnail, but it is
Yeah,
nice to
you
have a
need
good
something.
portrait. So, yeah. You're not much of a... Well, you have been doing a lot of portraits, actually. A little bit more.
I hate taking portraits of people.
Do you?
I don't like posing people. It's something I'm just not
I was
comfortable or
same.
good at.
Same. But you can get...
I've seen my sister do it, and it's like
Oh my God.
the
Your
amount
sister.
of energy she puts into it. I'm like, I do not have that.
Yeah.
I've seen her carouse
Yeah,
a wedding
it's
party
amazing.
of 30
Oh, she's
people.
so-
It's amazing.
That I'm like, that's exhausting.
Yeah, I could never do it. Like I'm just, and then I'm like at the wedding, the video guy being like, yeah, it looks great. Yeah,
Yeah, you're the behind the scenes, yeah.
Like, you corral them, I'll just get my shot, and then I'm good.
I've done both. I prefer
Yeah,
video.
I've done both
Yeah.
too, and it's nice where like, I'm the second shooter at a wedding for
That's
photo
also
or
nice.
video,
Love
and like,
second shooting.
yeah, I'm just like the behind the scenes person. You can
So
corral,
nice.
but I've had a chat. I don't know if I talked to Emily, your sister, before, like via like we sent like long photo videos of each other talking on Instagram, and we're talking about how much energy it takes. Like before, like
So
after
much.
and before a shoot, like after a shoot, I'm kind of done for the whole day after.
Yeah.
Like I did my photo shoot on Sunday. It was an all day thing. We were in the cold all day, and then yesterday it just was like, I couldn't do anything really. Like I did a few things, but it was just like I'm in the apartment all day.
You've like expended your battery.
Yeah,
Your
the social battery.
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
It's a real thing.
Yeah, and I'm really trying to be really like more. I've always tried to be organized before a shoot as best as I could and have ideas and sketches and posing ideas and stuff. But what I really learned from Chris Buck and like the internship was like the way that he like preps. He'll sit there for 2 hours and just think of ideas, research. He knows who he's photographing, researches them for an hour, then sits there for another hour and writes down all the ideas. And I really learned from that, and I'm really trying to do the same thing too. And that's why I decided, like, if somebody comes to me and goes, "Hey, I want a photo. Tell me the rate," and I'm like, "Okay, we'll talk about that after, but we need to have a chat first, like a Google Meet chat, and just like chat about like what do you want, and then how we can get both like."
Yeah, what do you want out of this?
Yeah, and that's so much so helpful. And then when I get to the shoot, then we've already had our catch up.
Prep is everything.
Yeah.
Prep allows you not only to execute, but to be creative so you're not figuring out how to solve problems while you're there.
Yeah.
Because you've done all the prep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it never works out to like how you prep so much and then you show up and it's like, oh, I'm doing a different shot now. But
Yeah.
it's cool.
But hey, at least you have somewhere to start.
Yeah,
or a base,
exactly.
and you can pivot from there.
Yeah.
I think like starting out when I was young, it's just like, I'll just figure it out when I'm there.
Yeah, that's
And then you meet a mentor and you meet people who have been doing it for a while. You're like, oh, okay. Oh, wow. Okay. You're planning this out. Okay. And then you get there, you kind of have a base and then you can pivot from there.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, I've shot like the photo shoot I did on Sunday. Like, I was so stressed because I was taking a photo of somebody that like helped me pursue photography and helped me get into Sheridan. I had, he will never admit this. I think he just forgets it. But my high school photography teacher, I just go to HT in grade 12. He doesn't know me. He doesn't know what I've been doing. He goes, okay, what's your plan? Like, what school you're going to? Like, what's your direction? And I was like, I'm going to Mohawk for social work. And he was like looking at my work and he was like, I think you should think about photography. And I was like, no, like, there's not, like, that did not cross my mind. So, grade 12 is like, everyone's going to college and I'm doing a full 180 now, like, well, full 360, like everything changed. And then photographing him, it was a lot of pressure. And he didn't think of it like that. He's just like, oh, like, take my picture, Alex. And I'm like, no, you have no idea how big of a deal this is for me.
Well, someone you look up to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like somebody that just completely like switched everything for me and saw like the potential and was like, let's help her.
I had a teacher tell me the same thing.
Yeah.
That's what made me pivot.
Really?
Yeah. I was a teacher in college. Yeah.
What was your direction first, you thought?
I was in policing.
Oh.
At Mohawk. And then we had a project about theft prevention and we asked if we could do a video. And so I made a video and she's like, this is so good. She's like, why aren't you in film? And when this was like my end of the first year, it was a 2-year program and I was already really wanted to switch. And I was like, fuck it, I'm going to switch. Yeah. That's what did it for me, was that teacher. And I'm sorry, I forget her name. Fuck. Mohawk.
Apologies.
Police officer, blonde hair. Yeah, she might be teaching there still, but.
Yeah.
And then I went to York.
Oh.
For a year.
Okay.
That's a long story. We don't have to get into that. But
I get it. Yeah.
So.
I get that.
And now I have a podcast. And a clothing
life
brand.
just goes 360.
Yeah. Yeah. So teachers can have a lot of influence, or just peers or mentors or in general.
I think that's what I missed, like, out of college. I graduated 2019 and there was like a good trajectory of like my career. Like, there was doing really well and people were like, Alex, you're doing so good. Like, and then silly me, like, I moved to Banff for 6 months and was like, I'm gonna go live my life. And then I came back doing the whole like telling everyone I'm back, and then of course COVID hit. So I had no community and I felt really alone in like my creative self, and like I was living back at home and I love Norfolk, but my family's not creative. So I was just like taking pictures on the farm, and I love that's something that I'm working on. I've been working on it for like 6 years about alcoholism and addiction in my family, and I was documenting that for this long, and I want to finish it. That's the next goal. But they didn't really get it, right? And then when I met Chris, like, I guess only 5 or 6 months ago, like, it completely changed. And it's cool that, I'm back now. I've only been back for 2 weeks, and he's still checking in on me.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and he's like, hey, you want to set up a call? Like, call me if you want. Tell me how everything's going. And he's just pushing me.
That's
and
good.
It's just like completely life-changing.
I mean, if you're you have a couple paths, but you're unsure, he can kind of like give you some direction at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like.
It's good to have someone like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Mentors are cheat codes to life, I feel.
I agree.
Yeah. Just like, wow, because I have one. I don't like to talk about him too much because I don't know how much personal information he just wants on the internet.
Yeah.
But he's changed my life. Yeah, for sure.
I love that. Yeah.
Just process and creative, just how to go about it and seeing how he does it and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really thankful for Chris, and just like, he knows, like I've told it, like, well, the internship was so. To
pick you out of how many and then to ask you to come, and then it was just like meant to be, it sounds like.
Yeah. And it's, he'd do a photo shoot and I'd be there. He'd be like, oh, like introducing me to the subject. Hey, this is my intern. And literally saying like, she's better than me. And I'm like, don't even say that, dude. Like, don't say that. And he's like, no, you are. And I'm like, just don't. like, now there's so much pressure.
Now it's that, what's that term when you feel kind of fake?
Oh, the
imposter syndrome?
Yeah.
That's it.
Man, the imposter syndrome. I feel like, every artist deals with it probably.
Oh, it's terrible.
But
even people coming up to me at like a yoga class, like, oh my God, I love your podcast. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I just feel like I'm still like I feel I have to remember, Chris reminded me just to like I have to put on the imaginary Alex Franklin, the photographer hat. And that's honestly been really helpful because sometimes I do like go back into my little hole and I'm afraid and I don't want people to judge me and all this stuff. But when I was in New York, I was just like Googling what's going on in the photo world in New York this night. And I would
Here's
just show
100
up.
things. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd go to photo talks, photo exhibits.
That's great.
I went to like workshops all by myself and was like, I have to, you know, people are like, oh, like, where are you from? What are you doing? What kind of stuff you do? And I just had to like remember to like put on that imaginary hat and like yell at the imposter syndrome, like, go away. You are good at what you do and people see it and you have to remember it. Like, so yeah.
It's a little bit of like a fake it till you make it, but almost like fake it to yourself
Yeah.
in a way. Even if you don't believe it, it's like, well, just go with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I feel like that all the time, honestly. Sometimes I'm very self-conscious about putting things out.
Yeah. The amount of, I don't want people to see this now, but I'm going to be honest. The amount of times I've posted something on Instagram.
Deleted it?
And deleted it right away. Like, hopefully somebody didn't see it. And then I'll like
Yeah.
let it, the amount of times I've done that.
I was just talking about that. That was Hannah, right? Hannah would put something down, then she'd smoke some weed. She's very open about it, so I can talk about it. Smoke some weed, get the weed paranoia, and then delete it.
Yeah.
Delete everything she posted that day. I'm like, that's so funny.
Yeah. I've done that many times. I'm just like, no. Hopefully somebody didn't see it. Or like I'll post something on my story and I'm like, oh, okay, only like 2 people saw it. It's fine. I don't care.
There's so much content. Who cares? Put it out.
Yeah.
People forget about it. Put more stuff out. Like,
Mine's usually like the drunken stories. It's like you wake up
Your
and you're
stories
like,
are so funny.
you go
though.
through them and it's like, oh,
dude, I was
should
dying
I
at the
leave that?
avocado bag.
Yeah, that was
yeah, like,
That was funny.
well, I had that idea. I'm just like, well, I want to, because I got the idea to post something about it from someone else I know that posted about their experience with the exact same thing. Like literally a month ago or 2 months ago, they like had the surgery. I'm like, oh, like I've been thinking about doing it and all this stuff. Like, how'd it go? He's like, yeah, man, like this is why I posted it, like whatever. So I'm like, yeah, I want to bring attention to it as well.
I would say you're pretty open online,
yeah, pretty open.
covering certain areas with certain objects
Yeah,
and nothing
I
else.
do. I haven't
yeah.
done one of those in a while.
So that's pretty vulnerable, I'd say.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
think I never met you and it was just Instagram how I met you.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, like, when the Instagram algorithm was good and it like shows
Showed
you
you your
people
friends
around.
and yeah.
And then I think, yeah, your photos like came up and I was like, this guy's like, and I liked your captions and you're just being vulnerable. And then
Yeah.
I think I messaged you and it was like, can I photograph you? And we never did.
No,
but it
we
was just
didn't.
like, it was cool to like be connected
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah.
And like,
I think that
just
was around
how-
the time I was talking about therapy and stuff.
Yes.
And when I was doing that and
yeah,
miss therapy. Therapy's good.
yeah.
Expensive.
That's
yeah.
the thing.
It's
yeah.
nice when you're making a lot of money doing a job
Yeah.
at a factory. Yeah.
Yeah, at a factory.
I feel like I'm at fault for that.
Yeah.
But look how
Well,
much fun you're having.
I'm having so much fun, Drew.
We met
I
and
am.
and he wanted to pursue, this kind of medium. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you can't work there. It's not going to
Yeah.
work.
Drew was like my mentor.
Yeah.
You just got to leap.
Sometimes, yeah, you
did
do
it.
have to do the leap.
gotta take
That's
a
what I
leap.
did with New York. It's like,
Leaping around now.
we got some debt afterwards, but it's fine. I got wealth now, mental wealth.
Mental wealth. That's the most important kind of wealth.
You can
really.
always wait. You can always save more money. You can always do this later. But
Yeah.
it's like, just do it.
it.
It's same for the podcast. I didn't feel ready at all. And the first, 10 episodes were kind of rough because we're having problems with camera
Learning.
and problems with, even now, we have problems
Oh
sometimes.
yeah, we're
but
still learning.
it's just,
But you just got to get it out.
get your reps in.
Yeah,
It's like the
The
gym.
reps and-
exactly. That's what I've always wanted to do more like vloggy styles of my life. And
You were
wanted
talking about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always wanted to do it. I took a lot of photos and videos of what I was doing in New York, and I posted some of it, but honestly, it was just hard. It was
Yeah.
hard to, I was in a different place and spending a lot of money and
A lot of work.
alone and a lot of mental
lot of work.
work and a lot of expectations. There's a lot of pressure. Like when people donate and people go, okay,
What are you up to? What are you shooting? Like,
yeah.
I
So,
see.
and I totally it helped me. And there was a lot of but then there was Chris being like, okay, move to New York. Have you talked to the lawyers yet? Like to get a visa. And I'm like, dude, I don't have the money. But it's good pressure. It's still pressure that I'm going to keep like on myself now, and just keep shooting and keep making connections, and that's all I can do right now.
It's why I like sticking with freelance, as hard as it can be sometimes.
Yeah.
Mentally, financially, all that stuff, but it's it keeps you motivated because like you have to. You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
But if you have a 9 to 5 and do it on the side, then it might just always be a hobby. It might always be a hobby, which is there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're obsessive about it or very passionate about it, you have to just
Yeah. I think the thing that I sort of struggle with is like I have the passion. It's always been there. But I have like the ADHD struggles, unmedicated.
I'm gonna show you some. I'll show you some tools that I use.
Yeah. That's great.
Do you know what Millinode is? Like, do you use programs at all to stay organized?
No, not really. I've looked into it. But...
I'm gonna show you. I'll show you how I have this whole podcast set up.
Okay.
And then I have projects and stuff too. I'll show you how I do it.
Hell yeah.
It'll help.
Okay, cool.
It's free too. This
Nice.
is a free version.
Yeah.
We like free stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. I just wanted to shout out. Did you want to say something?
No, I was gonna say it is 3.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I just wanted to shout out, if there's any photographers listening, reach out to Alex Franklin. If you're renting gear out or if you're lending free gear out, reach out to Alex. If you want to collab, reach out to Alex. Just Alex Franklin, right? On his screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Alex Franklin Photos.
Alex Franklin Photos. And then for work, people message you on there.
Yeah, message me on there, or you can email me at alexfranklinphotos@outlook.com.
Sweet.
Yeah. Portraits mostly, but yeah, I do business, headshots. But I want to keep, if you want authentic and raw work, then I'm your lady.
Cool. We should do a podcast shoot or something.
Fuck yeah.
We'll be vulnerable together.
You want to be vulnerable
We'll all cry together.
with our cameras? Yeah, I was thinking a different kind of vulnerable.
I'm good at
but-
making people cry in
Yeah.
in a good way. I don't make people cry, but
I
they
could
like
use
to
a good
cry to
cry.
me.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crying's good. So
Oh, fuck yeah.
you need to get it out. It's
Isn't
not
it-
good to keep it in.
Doesn't it like release, what's that word? Endorphins
yeah.
or something?
Tears?
I don't know.
Oh, tears too, also.
Thanks.
But you cry and then you feel better after.
Yeah.
Because it
100%.
like does stuff.
Trauma.
Trauma.
Well-
I lost my entire house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk
I
about
can't-
trauma.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't imagine.
You
Yeah.
definitely realize how much you don't need. That's for sure.
That is a good, yeah. Obviously not on the same level, but when I was in New York and only had 2 suitcases, and then I came back to my home in Hamilton, and I was like, everything needs to change.
Yeah, because I've survived without all this stuff. For so
Yeah,
long,
and
yeah.
it was overwhelming coming home and being like, why do I have this much clothes? And it's just like, not great clothes, it's thrifted clothes, but why is it taking this much space? Why do I need all this stuff? Why, like, you need to simple it down. But obviously not to the same level, but it's just a good reminder.
Yeah, I wouldn't burn it.
No, let's not. I'm sorry.
Oh, I joke about it all the time. I still catch people. Even my dad, he's like, what was he talking about the other day? Some like gloves or some kind of clothing. And he was like, what did you do with that thing? I was like, oh, I don't have it anymore. He's like, what do you mean you don't have it? Did you sell it? I was like, I lost it. He's like, what do you mean you lost it? And I was like, in a fire. He's like, oh yeah. I'm setting him up though, right?
Yeah.
So I get a kick out of it.
Oh my God.
Might as well.
Wow.
What else are you gonna do? So
Yeah.
well, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a blast.
We jumped around a lot. I guess 3 ADHD peeps.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hope
And
we talked about photography enough.
I think so.
Yeah.
Is there anything I didn't deep dive into enough on photography that you want to touch on? We talked about your process, kind of your
Yep.
story to New York, your history, your style,
Well, I guess we did do a lot of it.
posing,
Yeah, posing.
portraits, how you get gigs in Toronto,
Yeah.
BAing, film.
Yeah, a lot of side hustles. I guess that is all of it. Something that I'm like personal work that I'm working on, a photo book.
Yeah.
I'm sure the name will change, but it's called Fuck John, Where'd You Go? That's what it's called.
Okay. Is that
it's-
what's over here?
Yeah, this is what it's over
Is this
here.
confidential right now?
Oh, sorry, no. No, it is not. People have seen it, but it's
Okay.
not fully done. But I'm sure most of the photos will stay. But yeah, you could take a look at it. It's it's about the addiction in my family and about how
I won't show the photos. I'll just hold it up.
Yeah, but how I'm sure the
Hefty.
yeah, it's hefty. Yeah, Alex Franklin. Not but yeah, it's about how a family member died by suicide and how everything kind of changed in the family dynamic because of that. So yeah, it's been a work for 6 years, and the dynamic has changed so much within my family. So that's why it never got finished quite yet, because that book, there's a lot of feeling about anger and confusion and all the feelings that addiction brings.
Or to direct your anger.
Yeah, and but we're all healing. My my relationship with my family has gotten a lot better, so I want to make a new product of like that book, and it's more about like the healing and us like getting better together. So
This is beautiful.
thank you. Yeah, I always talk about it, and it's gonna get done, but sometimes things take time. Definitely with, something so personal. So
Is this game meat here?
yeah.
Oh, cool.
That's my grandpa. Yeah, my grandpa.
Not to reveal anything.
No, people have seen it. Some people know that I've been working on it for a long time. So
Very cool.
thank you.
Well, don't feel like you need to be rushed or anything.
No, but that
Passion project.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think the New York thing, like, again, reminded me that people see potential and people appreciate my work. So I need to stop the little self-doubt and the imposter syndrome and just keep doing what I love.
We all have it.
Yeah.
It's normal.
We artists.
Yep.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate this.
You're very
And
welcome.
I did forget that I didn't. Now I hear myself again in these, but I forgot about it. So
Right? Didn't I mention that?
Yeah.
We're just hanging out.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Cheers.
Until the next one.